Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca, and let me tell you, I've got the mother-in-law from your worst nightmares. I grew up with just my mom, Deborah, who worked two jobs to put me through college. I fought hard to earn my place as a software engineer at one of Boston's top tech firms. Mom taught me resilience, integrity, and grit, lessons that would prove more valuable than I ever imagined. I met James Blackwood at a tech conference last year. He was charming, sharp, and not your typical trust fund guy. You actually get it. I laughed on our first coffee date, amazed that he understood coding architecture. And you stay awake through market analysis, he shot back with a grin. We were swept up in a whirlwind of weekend trips, late night talks, and dreams about the future. Then came the day I met his family. Just be yourself, James said as we entered their opulent mansion. His mother, Patricia Blackwood, greeted me with a tight-lipped smile that never reached her eyes. "Ah, so you're Rebecca," she said smoothly. "James mentioned you work in computers." I held my head high. "I'm a software engineer at Data Tech Solutions." Patricia arched a brow. "How industrious. You must get that from your background. Speaking of which, where is your father?" My stomach tightened. "Mom raised me alone, actually." Patricia gave a faint, insincere nod. "How challenging. We simply must help you acclimate to proper society." The wedding planning was a nightmare. Patricia steamrolled every choice. "But my mom already found this beautiful venue," I tried to explain. "The Blackwoods have married at the Bristol Country Club for generations," Patricia cut in. "We can't have people talking." When the day finally arrived, Patricia cornered me in the bridal suite, inspecting the gifts from my side of the family. "These are from Target, Macy's," she sneered. "The Blackwoods received gifts from Tiffany and Cartier." I bristled. "These were chosen with love," I said firmly. Patricia's eyes hardened. "Love doesn't maintain social standing, dear." She turned to James. "Tell her." James hesitated, avoiding my gaze. "Maybe Mom has a point, Rebecca. We could exchange them." "These are from my family, James," I said, my voice trembling. "My mom saved for months." Patricia dismissed me with a wave. "Exactly why they should be returned." She turned back to James. "Handle this." James still wouldn't meet my eyes as Patricia began loading the gifts into her car. Each box was a piece of my family's love and a reminder of James' betrayal. I felt my respect for him slipping away, one box at a time. Mom found me in the bathroom, tears streaming down my face. "Baby girl, what happened?" I sobbed into her shoulder. "They said the gifts weren't good enough, that they'd embarrass the family." She held me tightly. "Remember what I always taught you. Anyone who makes you feel small isn't worth your time. But this is your day. We'll handle this later." Little did I know, this was just the beginning. Patricia's improvements began immediately. During our first family dinner, she leaned over with that same cold smile. "A Blackwood wife doesn't work like a common person. You look positively exhausted." I squared my shoulders. "I love my job, and I'm up for a promotion." "James, darling, tell your wife about the country club membership," Patricia said, her tone sugary but loaded with implication. "Only wives who can dedicate themselves to proper social duties are admitted." James wouldn't meet my eyes, just pushed his food around on his plate. "Rebecca, maybe we should discuss you taking a break." Each word cut deep. I was losing him. Every night, it seemed, he went for drinks with Dad, which turned into staying at his parents' house. Our home felt empty, except when Patricia would drop by unannounced. Then my coworker Amanda texted me. "Rebecca, you need to hear what's going around the club." Over lunch, she revealed my worst nightmare. "Your mother-in-law's been telling everyone your mom's an alcoholic who abandoned you repeatedly, that you grew up in a trailer park in Nevada." I nearly choked. "What?" "My mom's never touched alcohol in her life. We lived in a small apartment in Boston." But Amanda wasn't done. "Remember that executive position James turned down in Seattle? Patricia told the CEO's wife that you were unstable and threatened suicide if he took it." My hands shook as I processed this betrayal. Then, as if on cue, my phone rang. Mom sobbing. "Baby, I lost my job. They said there were complaints about my behavior, but I don't know what I did wrong." I started digging, and everywhere I looked, I found Patricia's fingerprints. She played golf with my mom's boss's wife the week before. Another afternoon, I came home early with a migraine and found Patricia in my house, using her spare key. She was hunched over my laptop. "What are you doing?" I asked, startled. She jumped, then forced a smile. Oh, just tidying up. You're so disorganized, dear. Later, I noticed my personal documents were scattered, and my private therapy journal had been read, pages wrinkled and disturbed. I confided in Amanda, and together we investigated. Through an old contact, we tracked down Sharon, James's sister, who had moved across the country. Over the phone, Sharon poured out her story. Patricia destroyed my marriage, she revealed. She convinced Tommy I was cheating. When I proved I wasn't, she went after his business. I lost everything. Why didn't you tell James? I asked, devastated. Sharon sighed. I tried. But Patricia has a way of twisting everything, making you sound crazy. Dad enables her, and James, he's been conditioned since birth. My phone buzzed again. It was Amanda. She'd uncovered more. 3 other marriages Patricia had sabotaged, 2 careers ruined, all documented in gossip at the country club. That night, James was distant again. Your mother called, he said flatly. She told me you were acting erratic at the gala. James, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. She went through our house today. She's spreading lies, hurting my family. My mom lost her job because of her. Don't be ridiculous, he scoffed, avoiding my gaze. You're starting to sound like Sharon and her conspiracy theories. I stared at him, something inside me breaking. This wasn't love. This was survival, and I needed to fight back. Everything leaves a trail, Amanda reminded me as we set up hidden cameras around the house. Even snakes like Patricia. I started documenting everything. Photos of her rifling through my belongings, recordings of her veiled threats. Then I struck gold. One afternoon, Patricia left her iPad logged into her email at our place. Amanda, look at this. I whispered, pulling her over. Patricia had racked up over $500,000 in gambling losses in just a few months, and the funding. Transfers from Robert's company accounts. It started as small amounts, then snowballed. As I dug further, I discovered emails about Sharon. Patricia had hired a private investigator to stalk her, paid a woman to fake an affair with Tommy, then blackmailed Tommy's business partners. Amanda found the smoking gun for my mom's firing, emails between Patricia and my mom's boss's wife. Patricia had threatened to pull the Blackwood Foundation's donation unless they got rid of her. It all came to a head at Sunday dinner. Patricia glared at me across the table. James, your wife is investigating our family. I found her little document folder. James looked puzzled. What folder? The one she's using to blackmail us. She's just like her mother. Trash, trying to take advantage of good families. Don't talk about my mom, I said, my voice trembling with rage. I'll speak about that gold-digging drunk however I please. My anger flared. My mom has never had a drink in her life, but let's talk about your gambling debts. Patricia's face paled and she hissed, How dare you? Oh, I dare, I said, pulling up screenshots on my phone. The casinos, the money you embezzled from Robert's company. The slap rang out across the room. Patricia stood over me, eyes wild, her hands still raised. James finally snapped, jolting out of his stupor. Mom, what are you doing? She's telling the truth, isn't she? Patricia shook her head, frantically trying to regain control. She's manipulating you, James. It's all lies. No, Mom, I heard you. The threats, the lies, the post-nup you tried to make me sign. I took out my phone and played the recording of Patricia bragging about ruining Sharon's marriage. Robert's face twisted in fury as he turned to his wife. Patricia, what did you do to our daughter? Everything unraveled from there. James turned to me, devastated. Rebecca, I'm so sorry. But I was done. I'm staying at my mom's. Don't follow me. Rebecca, please, James begged. I didn't know. No, I cut him off. You didn't want to know. Every time I needed you, you chose her. Even when she made me return my family's wedding gifts, that should have been my first clue. I packed a bag while James argued with his parents downstairs. Through the vent, I heard Robert's voice rising as he uncovered more of the company's missing funds. How much did you take, Patricia? Robbie, darling, I can explain. I walked out just as their world began to collapse. Mom was waiting for me in the car. It's time, Amanda said later that evening, watching me hover over the anonymous IRS tip email. She deserves this. The evidence was overwhelming. Unreported gambling winnings, tax evasion, years of embezzlement. I attached everything, records of Patricia using company funds to pay off her casino debts, and hit send. 2 weeks later, the Blackwood offices were swarming with auditors. Robert's secretary called me, her voice shaking. They found everything. Mrs. Blackwood's private accounts, the missing money. It's all out. The board is furious. The country club called to revoke her membership. One night, James reached out. I filed for divorce from both of you, he said. In a way, I'm finally standing up to her. Good for you, James, I replied. Rebecca, I'm so sorry. Could we maybe? No, but I hope you find peace. The charges came swiftly. Tax fraud, embezzlement, corporate theft. Patricia's designer suits were swapped for an orange jumpsuit. Robert filed for divorce next. 40 years of marriage ended in a 20-minute hearing. Outside the courthouse, he found me. She ruined everything, he admitted, his voice heavy. Sharon's coming home. We're all in therapy now. I'm sorry for what we put you through. Meanwhile, my life was blooming. Dad of Tech promoted me to senior engineer, placing me in charge of a major project. We always knew you were brilliant, my boss said. Now, everyone else does too. Mom's wrongful termination lawsuit settled nicely. Her former company practically threw money at her to avoid the scandal. Karma, at its finest. 3 years later, I was boarding a flight to Paris with Mom and Amanda when a text from James came through. Mom's out of prison, working at Walmart. She wants to apologize. As I looked out over Paris, Mom raised her glass. To my daughter, who never let anyone dim her light. My phone buzzed again. Another text from James. She's really different now, Rebecca. Everyone deserves a second chance. Some bridges should stay burned, I texted back. I'm happy now. Let it go. Raising my glass, I toasted to knowing our worth. Mom squeezed my hand, and I felt how far we'd come. From that crying bride forced to return her family's cherished gifts, I was now here, stronger, happier, and free from those who thought they could break us. Some would call it revenge. I call it justice. Now, what would you do if your mother-in-law forced you to return your family's gifts, only to discover she was secretly stealing millions? Would you expose her crimes like I did, or confront her directly? Share your thoughts in the comments.